Welcome to the CBG podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us at the home of entrepreneurship, modern dating, interpersonal relationships, current events, and much, much more. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you joining us. As a matter of fact, give yourselves a round of applause. All right. Thank you for being here. I always like to give my audience a round of applause. We appreciate all the support. Do me a favor, a huge favor before we get started today. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, interact with the channel with us if you could. Uh, about 60% of our viewers are repeat viewers, and about 40% are non-subscribers. If you're subscribed to the channel, we appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It really will help us out. Smaller channels, it's really hard to get traction on YouTube, especially with just the amount of competition, and the algorithm is going to ignore a small channel like us most of the time. So the more engagement that we get, the more eyeballs can see the content, and the more eyeballs we can then reach, because the algorithm will actually feed our content out to more and more people. So we appreciate it if you could do that. Before we get started, want to give you a drum roll. All right, let's get into this. So what are we talking about today? So today we're going to have some fun. This is going to be a bit of a lighthearted show. We are going to. I've been getting I've been getting asked this question pretty frequently over the last couple of months. So people have been asking me, what inspired you to start your channel? Who were your inspirations? Who were the people that you discovered that made you say, hey, you know what? I can do this. I think I could do the same thing that they're doing. Um, that's a very good question. One of the things I mentioned when I first started this podcast was that I'm not a social media person by nature. Like I said, I don't have Facebook. I used to make fun of at a job that I was at, where they like, you're the only person on the planet that doesn't have Facebook. Like there were women there that couldn't believe, oh my God, how can you live without Facebook? Like it was crazy. But I've never had a Facebook account. I I have Twitter, I have Instagram, I have YouTube. Um, Twitter and Instagram I also use for business, and some family things on there, and then obviously YouTube is my platform for the podcast. Um, Not being a social media person by nature, surprised a lot of my friends. I've had friends who, this is what's really cool about this. I've had friends that I went to high school with, guys I was in the military with, that I haven't talked to in decades, that have discovered the channel through word of mouth. A friend of a friend may have sent them, hey man, Hassan and Amina have a daggone podcast. Like whoever would have thought? So I've had people reach out. I've had friends who I haven't heard from in a decade and a half, 2 decades, that have reached out and say, hey man, I heard you have a podcast now, man. What's it about? And then what inspired you? Like who inspired you? Like because I've always been pretty introverted. I'm to myself, especially when I was when I was married, had a family. Everything that was important to me was right in front of me, so I didn't need to be on social media and all this other stuff, and I just wasn't into that. Like it's just not for me. I was too engaged in my family, my kids, and what I was trying to accomplish for them. So I didn't really have time for social media. Now being, I'm out here, I'm single. I've obviously got to find, I had to find outlets. I had to find hobbies. We all went through the pandemic together. They locked us in our houses for 2 years and said, hey, make out as best you can. Right. So you could have allowed that to destroy you, or you could have allowed that to make you stronger. So what I did was I actually discovered YouTube in 20. I knew about YouTube for years and years, but in terms of the space that I'm in, which can be affectionately called the manosphere or the red pill space. Um, I want to debunk a couple of things on today's show, and then actually go into who my inspirations are or were and are. So, first of all, let me define for you the manosphere. So, there's a lot of confusion out there. It's just like with feminism and modern feminism. Like it started off as a really, really good idea of people that really wanted to help each other, and unfortunately, over time, it gets perverted into just a toxified version of what it was originally supposed to be. So now what you have is you have toxic feminism, and you have toxic manosphere or red pill folks that are, unfortunately, those are the people that society, the algorithm, whatever, whoever you want to blame it on, those are the people whose content gets promoted and pushed to the top. Um, Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. The negativity sells, sex sells, obviously, all those things sell. So what can happen is you can get caught chasing results, right? And you can say, well, I'm going to start a channel and I'm going to do shock value stuff and I'm going to, do all the stuff that everybody else is doing, right? You can do that. I mean, if you'd like, and if it's what you want to do, go ahead. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to help people. So first, let me give you a quick definition of what the manosphere or red pill space is. So my introduction to the manosphere came from YouTube. Obviously, I discovered at the end of 2018, going into 2019. I was going through a tumultuous period in my life. I had already turned off the mainstream TV. In 2012 is when I started turning that off because that's when I figured out that they were just flat out lying to you all the time. Like, if you guys are watching the mainstream news, I highly suggest that you turn it off. And not just the news, mainstream TV, period, because it's called television programming for a reason. They're programming you with toxic stuff. They're programming you. Even when I see, like, if I'm at somebody else's house or I'm out and about at a function or something, then they have TVs on. Like, I just the commercials are enough for me. I'm like, man, what the world are people looking at? Like, how in the world are people actually consuming this stuff? It's amazing to me. But when I turned off the TV and I disconnected cable in 2016, I got crucified for it. But my family was furious. Oh my God, how are you gonna? We're not. They learned how to use Fire Sticks real fast. They learned how to connect their laptops to YouTube and things like that, and whatever else, Hulu, whatever, real fast, right? People will make things work out of necessity, right? So my introduction came around 2018, and I'm going to let me define the manosphere first, and then I'm going to introduce to you the people who were my inspirations and who have really were the backbone of the people who helped me to have the inspiration to launch the channel. So first of all, the red pill space, let me give you the wiki or Google definition of what it is. It's basically a collection of of like-minded content providers, predominantly male rights activists. A lot of us, of course, a lot of them guys that, go through divorces and things like that, come over into the red pill space because they want to help to, to if they can save another guy from going through what they went through, right? Just being more aware. That's really what it is. I call it self-help for not predominantly men, although there are women in the space, which I'm going to show you. But originally it is intended for just men to help men be better men. That's my definition of it. It's really a loose term. Unfortunately, it's been perverted. When people hear red pill now, like they think, oh my God, you're one of those toxic masculinity guys that wears a tinfoil hat. And like, it gets like that, just like with modern feminists, right? Like, modern feminists are the extreme. And then you have your extreme red pill guys that, they basically are teaching red pill rage and stuff like that. Basically, those are the guys that are just, they really just tell you, F all women, right? Like, you don't want nothing to do with women. They're completely disgusting. They're a scourge to the earth, just like the feminists do it with men. We don't need men for anything. We can do everything ourselves. Men are just nothing but a burden. Freeze your eggs, babe. You can do it by yourself. You don't need a man. You get what I'm saying? That you have, unfortunately, those versions of the people, the extreme versions, are the ones that get pushed and pumped out to the masses, right? Because they're the most toxic, right? And how do you toxify society? How do you bring everyone down and make them low vibe? Well, promote the people who are going to do that for you. It's just like with the mainstream media. It's the same thing. Like, they're promoting toxicity on there. And people come home every day for whatever reason. They come home from work and they turn that garbage on every day. Like, it's like you're in a trance. Y'all remember the movie? Y'all remember Batman Forever? When Riddler had a device that you could stick it on your head and it would and you would connect to like his brain waves and you would absorb whatever nonsense he was pumping out. That's the same thing if you're watching, mainstream TV, or if you're watching toxic content providers. So what I want to show you today are those content providers who were my inspirations and who I pretty much listen to on a daily basis. I don't agree with everything that these people say, but a lot of what they say resonates with me. You guys know how it is. You might be out there, people you follow on Twitter, on YouTube, whatever. Usually it's people that make you feel like you're in an echo chamber. Like, you feel like you're listening to yourself. Like, you're like, oh man, this person sounds just like me. Man, this person sees the world the way that I do. Man, there are people out here who see it that way. And it's like such a eye-opening eureka moment. At least it was for me, because I went through a period where I was like, is there anybody out here that thinks like I do? Like, is there anyone out here whose brain isn't completely mush already? Because, coming from being a family man, being married into the single life, I had been warned about what it was like going to be like, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I was like, wow, wow, people are really, it's bad. Y'all know it's bad. So I say all that to say, I want to do today just a quick introduction and show you guys who were my inspirations. So let's get started. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go through each of these providers one by one. So you should be seeing on the screen, first of all, this is Coach Greg Adams. Coach Greg Adams is a very popular YouTuber. He's got several channels. The one you're looking at on the screen is actually his free agent lifestyle channel. This was the first channel that I found. That's why I'm calling him out first. This channel is the very first one that I found because I was coming across his clips, and he's a funny dude, and he sounds like me in a lot of ways, and he's very engaging. I was able to relate, my life situation with a lot of what he went through. So I actually ordered his book called The Free Agent Lifestyle. I've lent it out to friends to read. It's a wonderful read. I think that if you are a guy, especially if you went through a divorce or a bad breakup or anything, and you're looking for how do I get my life back on the rails, that book, it's a small book, very quick read, but it gives you a lot of insight into things that you can do to find fulfillment within yourself. Okay. Now, this is only one of his channels. He has several. Some of his stuff, I don't agree with a lot of his stuff. Unfortunately, some of his stuff has gotten into the point. Part of his shtick and part of his character is to bash women. He does it a lot, and I understand what he's doing. It's funny, but unfortunately, that message can get perverted, and these young guys that are listening to it take this stuff literally, right? And it can become a cocoon of bad information. So you got to be careful. Next on the list, let me toggle to the next screen here. And you should be seeing on the screen, and in 1 second, you should be seeing Better Bachelor. Better Bachelor, okay. Better Bachelor, I found his channel second. And what's interesting about him is I think you can see here, he's got 407,000 subscribers. When I found his channel, he had about 56 or 58,000 subscribers. So it's pretty cool to see, his growth. What people call him a hermit, people call him a monk, because what he teaches is his style is different. He teaches men to find fulfillment in and of themselves and to completely disregard women. Now, that can be taken as, oh, this guy is he's an incel, right? Like you hear all these comments from the feminists and the mainstream, and that, oh, these guys that don't want to date anymore are just incels, and they what's wrong with these guys? They should be out here dating. Get out there again. What are you doing? Well, no, we don't want to do that. Some of us are very content doing things ourselves, going out with our buddies. So he travels a lot. I think he's got like a house in Montana or something. Like he's off the grid. Like now he talks about how he's like, yeah, I've dated tons of women. He's dated women overseas. He does not date American women. We talk about that all the time. But he dates, he says, hey, I just right now, I don't feel like dating. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like our society is so weird that we make people think there's something weird if you're not out here trying to chase a relationship with somebody. I think it's weird if you are doing that, right? So it's weird, but he takes a lot of heat from he gets a lot of haters because they look at him like, you're part of the problem. You're teaching these people to be incels and this and that. Not what it is. Okay. So that's Better Bachelor. Next, you should be seeing on the screen, this is Richard Cooper. A lot of you might already be familiar with Richard. Richard is, this is his main channel called Entrepreneurs in Cars. He's got 643,000 subscribers, as you can see. He's got a bunch of, Richard is what I would consider to be a male improvement coach, right? He's a male, he teaches male improve yourself first and foremost. First two things, turn off the TV and go to the gym. That's for men. Turn off the TV and go to the gym. Don't do anything else yet. Do not do anything else. Do those two things first. He focuses on health and wellness first. He has a supplement line, things like that. He teaches and promotes for men to take care of themselves. Don't become a soy boy. Don't sit on the couch and freaking eat bonbons and Cheetos and then wonder why you don't have dime piece women knocking down your door. Teach. He teaches you. He's harsh, but he tells you the truth. And listening to his channel actually helped me a lot because I figured out that there were things that I was focusing on that were really the wrong things. And I was kind of neglecting myself in the process. So he kind of helps you get your life on the rails with that. So you can check out his channel. For men, I highly recommend that you do this. You actually check out his channel and just go through some of his core videos. I think it can help you get started if you're interested in getting into the space. Next, you're going to see Tribe of Men. Now, Tribe of Men, I've kind of cheated with his because I didn't find him necessarily that early, but I wanted to specifically call him out. This is his main channel. He's got 339,000 subs. He does things like this, right? The Spartan challenge. I mean, you can see here in his video, I mean, his picture, he's built. This guy, he teaches. I totally agree with his message. He does funny reaction videos and things like that. It's really funny, but he teaches self-improvement. He teaches for men to focus on becoming a better man. Like, I know they like to say, this is corny to say, become the best version of yourself. Like, there's a lot of people who say, oh, that's so cheesy and feminized. But it's legit. It's the truth. If you're telling somebody, because we do have many versions of ourselves, right? So if you can channel the very best one and they can teach you how to focus on that and do that, what's wrong with that? I think too many people try to find stuff that's wrong in the minutia, right? They're like, oh, that sounds right. Go to his videos and listen. Understand what he's telling you to, what he's encouraging you to do. He has a female who does a show with him as well. They have several channels. Very entertaining, and it's actually helps people to understand it. And like they do ghosting scenarios, and they show like how to know that, hey, you're probably being ghosted if this is happening. They show reaction videos to it. Very entertaining. One of my favorite channels. I watch it pretty much every day. Last but not least, and you guys are going to like this one. On the screen, you should be seeing Courtney Ryan. It's not just men in the space. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is just one. She's probably the most successful, one of the most successful women in the space. As you can see, she's got 525,000 subscribers. Courtney is now, full disclosure, I'll be fair about Courtney. Courtney caught my eye because I like that kind of look, right? Like, I like the dark hair with the pretty eyes kind of thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my boys out there are like, yeah, we know that. But so to be fair, I did kind of pick her channel amongst others that I have found because of that. But also her delivery is awesome. She got a very awesome, smooth voice. She's very easy to listen to. And you see, she's easy on the eyes as well. But when you look at her videos, she is actually a relationship coach. And her content, the reason I picked her content is not just because of how she looks, guys. I'm telling you, if you go and look at her content, she legitimately tries to help people. She has people on her show. She has people write into the show, and she reads the letters back, and she'll comment and give you her perspective. She's in a successful relationship. She's engaged. So she's got, skin in the game. Too many people are out here listening to people who have no skin in the game. They're not in any relationships. They're not dating anybody. They're literally a lot of them have red pill rage, where they're just so angry at all women, or for chicks, the super feminists that are just angry at all men because they went through terrible relationships with the people that they picked. So now they're mad at the world, and they think that there's no way possible that you can find a successful relationship because they just cannot seem to do it. That's really what Courtney dispels all of that. She says, hey, listen, if you want to be successful in this game, follow these things. And she's not out here telling you just one up it, guys. She ain't up there telling y'all that. She's giving you legit info on how to attract women, how to talk to women, how to approach women. I think she's 28. Very enlightened lady. I listen to her almost every day. Those are my OGs. Those are my red pill content people who I first discovered that really helped me to inspire me to start the channel. And I just wanted to give them a shout out today and just answer that question for people who have sent me emails and texts and who have said, man, who did you listen to that had you, or they'll tell me, hey man, I heard you talking and you sounded just like such and such. And we find out, yeah, because he's like, yo, it's Greg Adams, man. I heard that on his channel. So it's cool like that when you find that overlap. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. Once again, thank you for being here. Help us to get to 150 subscribers. We're getting very close. We're at 146. We need 4 more of you guys to hit that sub button, and we'll be at 150. We'll be at 150, and that's a huge milestone for us. We appreciate all of you guys. Thank you very much for being here. We're out. Talk next time. Thank you.